In the sort of situation we went through with a whole series of different elements that had to be reconciled or satisfied in the situation, it's hugely important that you understand or have some understanding of the other party's needs. And you also have to proceed cautiously. It worries me sometimes when I hear the way people discuss these matters as if they can be dealt with simply. They're time-consuming. Our own process lasted several years, and it depends. You can very difficult to decide where is the starting point and where is the end point as well. So we've got to be prepared for persuade you to spend time on it. I have problems with the way in which international law has been described here. And the problem is about legitimacy. Within our own states, we have our own parliaments and other governments, we have our elections within that state. And legitimacy derives from the people, from those democratic procedures. There are aspects of the people, I can understand people being angry, being keen on developing international law and all the rest of it. But they've got to think about the consequences, and they've got to consider whether they have the legitimacy necessary for doing it. I'm particularly concerned with some of the changes that have been made to what we up until now regarded as the rules of law, the rules of warfare. These are being modified by international institutions to such a point that our own armed forces will become ineffective. And that's not an exaggeration. We are very close to that. I know in the United Kingdom we're very anxious to find ways of stopping this drive into so hampering the activities of our armed forces that they're not effective. And if they're not effective, that has huge consequences for the state and for the people who live there. We had the crisis a few years ago with a large number of migrants coming in to Europe. And we suddenly discovered that Europe doesn't have the capacity to deal with large influxes of persons. And that matter is not yet resolved. And that sudden influx of people from outside who come from states with different values and different identities, it puts a huge strain on the state into which people move. And it's not right that people should be compelled to accept major changes in their own state where they have not had the opportunity of having a say in the issue. That's why I think legitimacy is a huge issue, and I'm sorry for spending a bit of time on it because it seemed to me to be slipping down through the cracks in the discussion, and I think we need to bear this in mind.